Hi, I'm Daniel Andrews, owner and creator of AndrewsFootball.com. I've got a great video. I've got the sixth best Super Bowl team of all time. Now, unlike every other team, I can actually make a strong argument for this team being higher or lower on the list. But the thing is, though, this team 100% needs to be on this list. And after a careful analysis and breaking down everything, I decided that 6 was the perfect spot for this team. Now, like I said, you have to consider this team completely different than every other team. It's not really like comparing apples to oranges. It's like comparing apples to walnuts. I mean, they're two separate and different things. See, the reason why you want to consider this team lower is because this team only has 2 Pro Bowlers on defense and only 1 on offense. But it's kind of the sum of everything put together that really makes this team great, even though they don't have a lot of individuals that have a lot of awards. See, this team is really unique and different because you don't really know who's starting. You don't know what position they're playing. You had players that played in multiple positions. You had players that came to this team just for one season just to win the Super Bowl. As a matter of fact, they had one player in particular. He was a former Pro Bowl player. He came for a lot less money than he made after the year. And he was a part-time player for this year and this year only just so he can get that ring. So you have Pro Bowl players that are part-time starters that leave after the season's over. And that's what this team did. It was extremely unique. It was extremely different. So you have to take the sum of the results. And what are the results? Well, in defense, they had the number 1 defense as far as points per against them. Points per against them. There's better than that. Points per game. How's that sound? Number 1 in the league, 15.6 points a game. So even though the defense was very confusing, you didn't know who was playing what, announcers really didn't know, fans even didn't know, but the thing is, though, the results are there. Number 1 defense as far as points points go, points per game. So, Dan, what about the offense? Well, the quarterback missed the first 4 games of the season, but let's look at the 89 Niners, which had a Joe Montana Hall of Fame quarterback who was Super Bowl MVP that year, plus he was the NFL MVP. And let's compare his numbers. Now, keep in mind, Montana only started 13 games. This quarterback only started 12. Montana had 3,521 yards. This quarterback had 3,554, so 1 less game, more yards. This quarterback had 26 touchdowns. Joe Montana, 26 touchdowns in his MVP season. This quarterback had 28 more touchdowns, 1 fewer game. Now, this is the difficult statistic, but Montana only had 8 interceptions. All right? I mean, that's a small number, 26-8. That's more than 3 touchdowns. This quarterback had 2. All right? Montana, over 3-1. This one, 14-1. So, more pass attempts, more yards, more touchdowns, way fewer interceptions. And then look at Roger Craig. He had a Pro Bowl season, 1,054 yards. He had 6 touchdowns on the ground. This team had a 250-pound running back who had 1,161 yards, 18 touchdowns, no Pro Bowl. All right, no Pro Bowl. But think about this. You have a superior passing attack with a power running game. So let's say you went ahead and played dime formation. You just run the ball. Put 8 in the box, you just throw the ball. So this team, if you're comparing them to the 89 Niners, had a better offense. But if you look at points, they scored 442. This team scored 441, so 1 point better for the Niners. This defense was better, 3 points. But there's a lot of comparisons between the two. And I know what you're thinking. You're saying, Dan, listen, you're comparing the 6th place team and the 9th place team, and they're very similar, so I need a little more than that. I understand completely. And here's the thing. The main reason that this team's 6th and the Niners are at 9th is Super Bowl performance, while the Niners played against one of the worst Super Bowl teams by Super Bowl standards. this team actually played the worst Super Bowl of any one of these teams that are on this list, and it's not even close. Because for 2.5 quarters, this team was horrible. They were down 28-3 before winning the game. And, of course, I'm talking about it's the 6th greatest Super Bowl team of all time, the 2016 New England Patriots. Now, here's the thing. I'm going to touch base on the defense here. 4-3-3-4, that's for me and you. That's for fans. That's for Madden. That's for announcers. But that's not really how defenses are run, at least not the New England Patriots. Now, the New England Patriots run a 4-3 defense, but that's not really true. Now, multiple NFL players have said that college-level calculus is easier to understand than certain NFL playbooks. Well, this is like super-duper college-level calculus because this defense was so confusing that when you're looking back, you don't know who's starting, who's playing what, you don't know what position, and I don't care how smart or knowledgeable you're a fan, you just don't get it. Even other coaches aren't really sure which players are supposed to be doing what because this defense was so complicated, and that's why it's so good, and the results are there. Yeah, they only had 2 Pro Bowl players, but the results are there. On offense, yes, they only had 1 player, Rob Gronkowski, who I'm not including, ended up missing, only played 4 games, so I'm not really counting him on this list, but he's a Hall of Fame player. He will be in the Pro Football Team. Hall of Fame. This team also had Edelman, 98 catches, 1,106 yards, no Pro Bowl. Martellus Bennett, there for only this year, 55 catches, 701 yards, 7 touchdowns in 12 starts, not in a Pro Bowl. I don't get it, but this team really didn't worry about individual awards. This team was there to win the Super Bowl. When Brady was banished from Watergate, or whatever you want to call it, what was it called? Bountygate, Ballgate, whatever it was. I'm just glad we don't hear about it anymore. I was sick of it. I know you were sick of it. The NFL really didn't have a lot of players they wanted to put into the Pro Bowl. You can argue conspiracy theory all you want, but bottom line, this offense, let's compare this to the 89 Niners. The offense was better. The defense was better. Special teams. Matthew Slater was the only person who was first-team All-Pro on this team. Special teams player. Gronkowski, 27 out of 32 and 84.375% accuracy rate. Mike Kofer, first-team All-Pro, 29 out of 36, 80.555. So kicker was better. Didn't get a Pro Bowl nod while Kofer was awarded first-team All-Pro. It's okay because this team wasn't really worried about individual awards or accolades. They were there to win the Super Bowl. This team was determined to win the Super Bowl. But when you compare them to the 89 Niners, like I just did, they have a better offense. I proved that. They have a better defense. I proved that. They have a better special teams coach, or they have a better special teams program. Bill Belichick, former special teams coach. So, yeah, they beat them in all 3 categories. Oh, yeah, head coach, George Seifert or Bill Belichick. Which one do you take? Yeah, I'm waiting. I'm waiting for somebody to pop up and say George Seifert. Wait, it didn't happen because it's not going to happen. Nothing against George Seifert. An excellent, excellent coach. Is he better than Bill Belichick? No. But that's not the question. Are they better than the 9th best team? Are they better than the 1976 Oakland Raiders? That's the big question. And this is really, really hard because the Oakland Raiders were this tough, physical, dirty football team that intimidated players and coaches and teams. Well, the Patriots are the only team on this list that could be considered dirtier than the Raiders. The psychological effect that the Raiders had on teams, that they had on opponents, would be 100% negated by the Patriots. The Patriots are the only team on this list that would be considered dirtier than the Raiders. So the intimidation factor is gone. All right, let's just say that. The dirty factor, that's gone. Madden's a great coach. Very underrated coach. One of the greatest coaches of all time. People know more about the video game. Really underrated head coach. Bill Belichick's better. This is not a slight against Madden. Not a slight at all. But Bill Belichick's a better football coach than Madden. I think Madden will tell you that. And I think Bill Belichick, if he was being really honest, he'd say the same thing. Nothing against Madden, but which one would you rather have? The answer is Belichick. Brady over Snake. I love Snake. Brady's better. On defense, give me brains over brawn. That's all it is. You have a complex defense that teams couldn't figure out versus the smash mouth dirty defense. In this case, I think that the brains would win out over the brawn. I think this team would just beat the Raiders in basically every category, plus Belichick outcheats the Raiders, so every advantage that the Raiders have would be gone. So I hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribing to my YouTube channel is guaranteed to make all your wildest dreams come true. And if you look down there, there's a little button down there. BAM! Hit that button. Become one of the greatest people on planet Earth. Wait till next week where I have the top 5 Super Bowl teams of all time.